Well, g'day everybody. Welcome to another edition of Australian Paddock. Now, we're back in the vineyard because today I'd like to share with you some of the problems that we've had in our vintage this year. It's mid-March, so we're well into autumn, and it looks like we're not going to have a vintage this year. And I'll go into all the details in a minute. Please like and subscribe to my channel and videos. I really appreciate it. So let's have a look and see what the problems are and why this year is a bit of a disaster. So late 2022, early 2023, in terms of our summer, there's really been a disaster in Victoria for ripening or growing a lot of fruit, whether it's stone fruit or grapes or even tomatoes. We didn't get our first decent tomato until really late January, and that's because we had so much rain before Christmas and it's been cold. All of this fruit requires warmth to grow and to ripen. So late tomatoes, really poor tomato season, and late grapes. Look behind me, you can see that we've got red bunches of grapes, but we've also got a huge number of green berries in those red bunches, and we've got a whole lot of bunches that are completely green still. So what that means is that we're too late in the season now, and the temperature is starting to cool down, and you can probably see that the vines are maybe starting to change colour a little bit. And so we're probably not going to get enough warm days to continue that ripening. Veraison, which is where the berries start to ripen and change colour, was very, very late, and the local vineyards around here all have the same problems. So for the commercial vineyards, they'll be buying in grapes to enable them to create a vintage this year. For us, we are at the behest of the climate, and we can do nothing about it, and I'm okay with that. What it could mean, for example, is that at the end of this year or next year's vintage could be a fantastic vintage. So we lose a vintage and then we get a brilliant vintage. So I don't mind that connection to the weather and to what's going on in the ground and how that dictates the wine, and I can't change that. So I kind of like that. So that's the number one problem that we've got. So the second problem that we've had is powdery mildew. Now, I didn't spray this year. I didn't spray last year actually either, and we didn't have any problems. But this year, due to all the wet weather and the ground just being sodden for so long, that's obviously come into the vineyard. And once you've got it, you can't get rid of it. You need to pre-spray. So the bunches of grapes tend to lose the bottom part of the bunch. So you can see on these grapes that there's still some berries at the top, but predominantly the bottom part it's just shriveled and died. It's a classic symptom of the powdery mildew. So the solution is to spray with a Bordeaux or Bordeaux-like solution at the appropriate time before the flowers start, and to try and make sure that we can correct for that. But again, it's probably really a symptom of the extreme wet that we had. We did have another symptom of the extreme wet weather, which I can't show you, but it's when the ground was so sodden, the leaves at the end of the year had sort of brown spots on them, and it wasn't mould at the time. It was actually due to the fact that they were being overwatered. But because it was coming out of the sky, I had no way of controlling it. So this year we have the potential for a vintage. And I haven't watered the grapes once, which is incredible in our climate. We have had a couple of months, 2.5 months really without any rain. And so I've been leaving the vines to fight for their water and get their roots out. And so hopefully next year they'll be bigger and stronger and more water resilient or drought resistant. So that's what I'm trying to do. So there you go, that's our 2023 lack of a vintage. So we're just going to drop the fruit on the ground and prune again and go again next year. That's all you can do, which is a very common way that they do it in France. Hope you found this video interesting. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you again very soon.